Hey team, meet Skimpies, the organic cotton undie made like a liner. Skimpies are for all of us who love going commando but can't quite pull it off like we used to. You just pop Skimpies directly into your pants, press firmly, and it's like you're wearing underwear without the gnarly panty lines. No PFAs, no synthetics, no irritation. Just clean, breathable, organic cotton where you need it most. Created by Bette Bentley, inspired by her own journey as an absolute babe who wanted to live that commando life, but without the UTIs. Go to skimpies.com to get started. Every peach deserves its day, and Skimpies is here to help make it happen. Skimpies, we just want to be in your pants. Hey team, and welcome. I'm your host, Kari, creator of Mother Life, your destination for all things real talk and parenting. This is the IRL group chat, where we talk about the wild balancing act of pursuing careers and passions while also doing our best to show up for our kids. Join me every week as I sit down with some badass parents in my closet and we talk about their careers, kids, and relationships and all of the weird shit that comes up when you're trying to balance the seemingly impossible.
Check 1 2 1 2. Welcome to this month's solo pod. I'm so happy to be with all of you and to broadly be able to use my voice. That was not the case a week ago. We're going to rewind all the way back to the beginning of spring break and get to today. There's a lot to cover, a lot of musings, a lot of thoughts, a lot of questions that you have all asked me, and I think we should have a good time today. I think the most popular question I've received thus far is, how am I doing? It's crazy to believe that my wonderful stepdad passed 2 months ago today. Time is flying in a way that feels very strange when trying to process loss. The good news is I have sort of gotten some of my faculties back about me. I'm able to kind of do the day-to-day tasks a little bit better. I'm not randomly crying all of the time, so all of that's good. That seems positive. And also, if I feel my feels, I'm just letting that happen. So in general, to answer your question, I'm doing okay. I'm finding my optimism again. My energy is sort of slowly coming back. I'm making sure that I talk about him a lot, probably more than I did even before he passed, and in a way, it's kind of keeping him around. I'm looking at pictures. I'm making sure when I see something that reminds me of him that I'm not only just telling myself, but I'm also telling my kids or my mom or whoever's around. In some ways, it really does feel like I'm keeping him here in that way. And that's been nice. That being said, stepdad passing aside, it just feels like the man is trying to keep me down, and I will not be kept down, as we're going to talk about vis-a-vis Moonjoy today. But man, like, this shit is just coming and coming and coming, and it doesn't stop. And I'm beginning to think, oh my God, is this just adulthood? I think it might be. But I'm surrendering a little bit, and that seems to be doing the trick. So let's start with what surrender really looks like. Traveling with kids on spring break. So first of all, let's normalize families not doing everything together all of the time. I really wanted to take my kids to Florida, where I grew up, to Tampa for spring break to spend some time with my sister, go with my mom, have a nice time. And quite frankly, I did not think that my husband would enjoy this. And quite frankly, I don't think he thought he would enjoy this either. And so he didn't come. And we both kind of thought that was the right call. And it was. It just meant that me and my sister and my mom could be like silly children together, like all piled in a bed and talking nonstop. And we all sort of took care of the kids together and did all this stuff together. And we just, like, I don't know, it was like hard matriarchy vibes. Like, it just, he did a lot of stuff around the house and was super helpful and was so excited when we came home and picked us up from the airport. But like, it's okay if you want to do stuff with your kids without your partner. And vice versa. In fact, it's encouraged by me. Not everything that you want to do is going to be your partner's jam, and not everything they want to do is going to be yours. And if you give up the stuff you want to do just because they don't like it, like, where does that lead you in the end, ultimately? This trip was a real testament to having made the right choice by just like doing something that I wanted to do. He was happy, I was happy, everybody was happy. But the morning of this trip, I'm generally like an anxious traveler only when I'm traveling with my kids. Like I used to travel internationally for my job all of the time. I would, pack up and go somewhere for 2 weeks without thinking about it. But going anywhere with my kids, as I'm sure a lot of you can relate to, just feels more fraught. Like they have more shit, and my kids are young, so they have more like specialist type shit. Booster seats, car seats, fucking night lights, sound machines, whatever it is. I got all the stuff. And so it just like makes the shtick a little bit more shticky. And for anybody who knows Los Angeles, traffic is like a real thing. Like the 405 ain't nothing to fuck with. The 405 ain't nothing to fuck with, especially on travel day to LAX. It is a stressful endeavor. So you can imagine my chagrin, surprise when I go into my daughter's room to get her to get ready to go to the airport. And homegirl is covered head to toe in vomit. Just vomit. And she looks confused. And I'm confused because it's like the vomit's dry. Like it's been there for a while. But she didn't wake anybody up in the middle of the night. I have reviewed the playback. I have reviewed the footage. We do not know what happened. To this day, it is a mystery. But I had like basically an hour to decide, should I take this kid on a plane or not? No fever, nothing else going on. Am I really gonna, like, what am I gonna do? So, luckily, there is children's Emetrol, which makes them not nauseated. And so I gave her some and she was fine. It was very weird. And I'm glad that I just tried to go with it. I think since COVID, understandably, like we're all really scared to travel with kids who might be a little under the weather, but controversial hot take, like adults literally travel sick all the time, whether or not they realize it. It's how all of us end up getting sick. And in this case, I'm really glad that I just went with it because she was absolutely fine. Like there was nothing wrong with her, but it was a pretty stressful way to start the day. It was almost so ridiculous that it made the rest of the travel day fine. We get to the airport. Our flight is obviously delayed. And you know what? I'm going to ask you guys in the show notes if you have any recommendation for a good carry-on bag that you can keep down in like under your seat with you for carrying all of the kid shit, please let me know, because my arm was like falling off because I have all of their like toys and analog activities to keep them busy on the plane. I have lunch. It's like a 5-hour flight. So I've got breakfast, lunch, and motherfucking dinner. I got snacks. I have every eventuality. I have changes of clothes and my arm's falling off and we're walking around the airport just trying to keep them busy. But for me, there's something about like once you get through security and you're at the airport, it's like, you know what? Jesus, take the wheel. Here I am. It's going to be fine one way or another. And please add to the layer of this travel day that we're dealing with the pukey girl. It was also recently potty trained girl. So, I mean, I put her in a pull-up because I'm not crazy, but she doesn't want to pee in the pull-up anymore. So I'm like constantly running her to the bathroom. She honestly did an incredible job, but like the cortisol levels were leveling, if you know what I mean. And in comes my angel from heaven, the tablet. My kids, everybody's got a different policy. I don't care what yours is. You don't care what mine is. Everyone's out there just trying to do their best. In our house, we have the tablets and they only work on the airplane and on vacation. Now, I think my kids know, especially the 5-year-old, like that's not true, that theoretically they could work at home, but they don't fight us on it. So they only get these things. This was my daughter's first time with the tablet. And let me tell you, I watched a fucking movie. I read a fucking book, Project Hail Mary, topical. It was incredible. I couldn't believe it. It really gave me hope for what future of travel with my children might be like. And I know that it was their first showing, and I'm sure the next time might be some fresh hell. But it really was a wonderful experience, just like the traveling and getting, and despite all the schlepp. I alluded to this like a lot on social media while we were gone. I don't know how to describe to you what North Tampa, like North Tampa, a part of Tampa that didn't exist really that much when I was a kid, is like. It's not Miami. mommies and poppies. It's not Boca. It's not whatever you think Florida is. It's like Tiger King, swamps, Gulf of America type vibes. It's a different thing. And we stayed at a great place that had like this incredible kid-friendly pool, and we spent loads of time in the pool, and that was great. But like, this isn't the South Tampa that I grew up in, which is a different vibe. And it's not the Florida that you have in your heads, unless you're thinking of Florida man like fucks an alligator, or Florida man accidentally murders wife on a bender. Like, it's more that kind of Florida. And also, if you're listening and you're from that part of Florida and you're offended, sorry, like, this just isn't the podcast for you. And that sometimes we just have to be okay with things not being our thing. But the trip was great. And also an anthropological experience. I mean, my kids didn't know, like, they loved it. They didn't notice the sort of cultural dissonance that we were experiencing. But it was a good reminder that I do live in a bubble. I live in a bubble, and I was out of the bubble. And it was good to be out of the bubble, and we had fun. But I'm happy to be back in the bubble for many reasons. Some of my impressions for traveling with my kids, and these are my kids specifically, and your kids might be different. One, I have a highly selective eater. One of my kids is extremely selective. Part of that is because they have a bunch of like dietary issues that are out of their control, and some of it is preference, but it did make the eating thing tense. Like, I love food. I love to eat. It was really hard to go on vacation and not look forward to a single meal because I'm just like focused on trying to get my kid fed. And like, we stayed at a place with a kitchen, and I ended up making a lot of white rice in that kitchen, and I had groceries delivered. So I made sure that my kids were fed. But that was a stressful thing in a way that I hadn't really appreciated before. Like, I always associate going on vacation with eating nice foods and enjoying my meals, and this was not that. We still had a great time, but like, the food, taking out the food fun of vacation was a totally new experience for me. The other thing I realized is that like, my hands were almost like bleeding by the end, just because from use. Like, my back was hurting, my shoulders, and I work out a lot, but the sheer amount of physicality of being with your kids, playing with them in the pool, taking them in and out of the car seat more than usual, like the amount of just engaging with them that I did on this trip, I was so locked in with them. Like, my body took a beating. And I would do it all over again, and I'm shocked I had fun, and I, in my head, told myself it was not going to be that much fun, and like, it really was great. But I was shocked by how hard on my body it was, because I kind of pride myself in taking good care of my body, and I thought it would show up, but it was not interested in showing up in this current instance. The other thing that I noticed about this trip is that I was more relaxed and willing to give my kids sort of small opportunities to exercise their independence, kind of more so than I do at home. In part, like, we were in areas where there weren't loads of cars around. At the hotel, I like let them go fill up the ice bucket by themselves and run back to their room. And in those small opportunities where I gave, especially my son, opportunities to be independent, it was crazy how fast the feedback loop was to growing his confidence. Like, he was talking to people and looking them in the eye and helping me with the luggage and carrying his own backpack and being a helper in a way that he felt really like self-actualized in a way. So that's something that I'm just trying to reflect on, and how I can bring those things home in a way that feels safe in a big city. But like, the independence piece is important, and it was kind of cool that he got to do more of that on vacation than he normally gets to. And I'm going to try and figure out how to bring that back to our regular life. Coming home, my son looked at me after having an incredible flight home, being absolutely perfect. And he said, "Mommy, did you notice I'm a better listener on vacation?" And I was like, fuck, this kid is so here and so aware, and he's so right. Why is he right? And I've been thinking about it because obviously I want to foster an environment for a good listener all of the time, but it's kind of not possible. in all cases. I mean, he had this like independence that gave him a little bit of a confidence boost, but he also didn't have the time pressure of having to get out the door fast for a bunch of different commitments. The only question every day was like, should we go to the pool now or should we go to the pool after we go order some bacon at the restaurant? Like, the choices that he was being asked to make were fun choices. And like, I didn't give him everything he wanted all of the time. And also, he got enough yeses that I think it was just a more relaxing proposition. Now, I think the biggest piece was just having the structure away from school. Some kids love school and love being at school. That is not my kid currently. And having the opportunity to not have to worry about what school is going to be like and is he going to be forced to sit in a chair and color for whatever, however many hours, like just having that pressure taken off of him was pretty transformative. And that also makes me think a lot about what I want for him and his sort of learning environment moving forward. So that's the big take on spring break. And coming back was wonderful. Seeing my cute husband, waiting to pick us up at the luggage place, and he's excited and everybody's excited to see him, and he's like got the house all prepped for us to come back. Like, that was also a really nice feeling. When you're not with your partner all of the time, it gives you an opportunity to miss them. Shocker. Now right before we left on the trip, I was getting over strep throat. We come back from the trip, and strep throat also comes back with a vengeance. I mean, gnarly, way worse than the first time. And so we get back from the trip. I am like within days immediately sick again. My daughter's sick again. And then our wonderful au pair goes on a properly well-deserved vacation that she's been planning for a long time to go see her beloved Bieber at Biebercella. And I am alone with my children once again, who are on what is seeming like a 5,000-year spring break because their spring breaks did not overlap. So like, I don't know, we're going on 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and then we hear, oh, there might be a teacher strike. And this is when I'm starting to have an out-of-body experience. I have been with my children so much. And also, like, not all of this is vacation time for me. Like, I still have my work. And I'm not just talking about the podcast, like my other work for Blue Cloud Movie Ranch. I have people that we're collaborating on expecting things from me. And it's pretty stressful to try and figure out how to parent my children without childcare, without any sort of programming for them, and not put them in front of a TV. I didn't most of the time, and there was some value that came out of that. Like, my kids, I think, bonded a lot, but also, like, my house is a fucking mess. Like, my husband did all these organizing projects while we were gone. Like, within moments of being back, that was just all shot to shit. So that's like a lot, right? Like, we're dealing with the strep, we're dealing with the no childcare, we're dealing with the kids out of school for a million years, and I'm just hanging on for dear life. I mean, if you're watching any of this video, you will see I look haggard as fuck. There's nothing I can do about that. That's just like what my face looks like right now. And then, two things happen. One, I go see Project Hail Mary in theaters. I mean, if you read the book, you loved the book. I don't know a single person who read the book and didn't like it, first of all. And I'm a huge sci-fi nerd in general, but like, even if I wasn't a huge sci-fi nerd, what's not to love about the book? You have this really distinct, fun, playful POV in a hard sci-fi premise. And it's all about like people overcoming their own limitations to do the right thing for humanity. Like, what's better than that? So I read the book on the plane because my children are being angels. Then I come back, my husband and I go on a date, we see this movie, and it like reminds you why it's fun to go to the movies. Somebody said that it was like, it reminded them of being at a movie theater in the 90s, and it was kind of like that. It was just this big, spectacular, non-chain movie. And it's the kind of thing that you would maybe even want to see again. So I enjoyed it so much, and I'm like going down the rabbit hole of how did they make Rocky? Oh shit, he's a puppet. Wait, who voiced the puppet? how much did they adapt from the book? What did they change? I noticed they didn't mention that. They gapped this, but they didn't gap that. Kind of like doing my own dissection. It was just such a fun world to be a part of, and I might have to watch it again. And then a little doozy called Artemis 2 launches off into space and takes our hearts right with it. I mean, talk about moon joy. NASA understood the assignment of this mission. And I'm not talking about scientifically, like, let somebody else pontificate on that. They chose some of the most kind, thoughtful ambassadors for humanity and showed us what collaboration can do, showed us what we can achieve if we remember that we're all, as Christina says, on the same crew. This is the crew of planet Earth. And there was something about them being up here and loving on us up there and loving on us so hard down here, bringing names within the like little memory chip on Rise up there with them. Everything was so intentional, from the designs and the logo. The social media strategy needs to be fucking studied for science communication for years to come. The way they managed to figure out how to make this not just part of the zeitgeist, but the zeitgeist we all wanted to be living in is just, it's the moment I want to live in for forever. And in a way, like, you know, we always say we want to inspire young children by space travel and tell them, you know, what they can do anything and the possibilities are limitless. But I think what this did was inspired a lot of adults that that's true too. That just by being thoughtful and poetic and eloquent and recognizing your own humanity and positionality in this world, that you can just have a positive, good effect on other people. And like, that is of value. So I'm sort of in a new morning. Not really. Not everything's so serious. But when Artemis 2 came down and splashed down, obviously so happy that they came back safely. I can't tell you the amount of tears I have shed. I mean, naming that crater after Carol, naming that bright spot on the moon after Carol. Like, not a dry eye in the house. I often think, and I would love to have an astronaut on the pod at some point, so if you know one, let me know. But I often think about what it is like as a parent to go into space, or really to do any kind of job that's inherently risky, what the trade-offs were. And, you know, seeing these kids, Earthside, celebrate their parents and be so proud of what they're doing for humanity, again, was just like a good reminder that our kids are fucking watching us. And so long as we're doing something that is meaningful and of value and is aligned with our passions, like, they're going to be proud of us too. So there were so many layers to the moon joy for me. So many layers. And now I'm following like every NASA account there ever was, watching, you know, the ISS and Artemis talk to each other, compare what they're eating. Like, the rabbit holes that I went down, and I don't regret a single minute of it. I do not regret a single minute of it. So if you have a favorite astronaut or account that you're following that I might not be following yet, please send it to me. If you know an astronaut and wants to be on the pod, please send to me. I'm also really curious on everybody's thoughts. I'm going to reserve, like, I'm not out here to be judgy. I'm not a negative Nancy. But this is a real space mission to me. Going up to the ISS is a real space mission to me. It feels different than like the Blue Origin upsy downsy, you know? And everyone can call themselves what they want and be what they want to be. But to me, these were true astronauts. I'm not going to name names. I'm not going to say who's not an astronaut. But this felt really, really astronaut core in a way that resonated with me. A publicly funded mission to put people in space and go the furthest we've ever gone before. And it just made me really proud of what we can do with our teamwork. Moonjoy. Moonjoy. I mean, I don't know if I'll be able to look at any of this big blue-green marble the same way, again, thanks to those incredible science communicators and explorers. I love you all. Moving on. I mean, guys, this is such a sprawling app, right? But we're trundling along. Now, on a very different subject. I mean, if you want to land on the moon or do a little slingshot around it, you have to do your homework first. You got to do your math. You got to do your science. You got to do your humanities if you're going to be poetic when you're up there musing about humanity and the way we can contribute to a better society. Doing homework, though, takes a certain kind of kid. Some kids love homework. That was me. I wanted to get the grade. I wanted to get the A. I wanted to get the sticker, whatever it was. And some kids, homework doesn't resonate with them. How I interact with homework as a parent is a new thing for me. My son is 5, and he has started getting these like homework packs to do. And if I'm being totally honest with you, I struggle to give a shit about the homework. Like, I read to my kid, we do a lot of stuff. We talk about space travel and how that works. We do all of these things in our home. But having him sit down and like forcing him to color some stuff, that's a hard pill for me to swallow. And I think my son is also kind of grasping onto the fact that like this might not necessarily be the best use of his time. So I reached out to all of you and I said, how do I get a kid to do homework who doesn't want to do homework? Our general rule for context is he gets like a packet to fill out over the course of a month is like, you got to do 5 minutes a day. That's the thing. A timer goes on 5 minutes a day. And it's usually fine at the beginning of the month. He does all the pages that he hates the least, and then he saves the pages he hates the most for the very end. And that's like when we kind of get in an uncomfy situation. And all of you, I mean, this is probably one of the most heavily engaged with questions I've posted on Instagram in a very long time. People fell into different camps. Just if you're curious and thinking about homework in your house. Some people said, do not make them do the homework. It is fucking stupid and developmentally useless to make a 5-year-old do homework. What is the point? You're not even teaching them the skill of accountability or responsibility at that age. They're just like not there yet. What's the point? Don't make them do it. That's stupid. And by the way, some educators like fell into that camp and that group of like, don't make 5-year-olds do homework. Now, some were focused just on like trying to answer my initial question, what do you do if they refuse? And one of the most popular questions was, they don't want to do it. They're the ones who have to explain to their teacher why they didn't do it. And it's more about making it an accountability lesson. By the way, if you're curious, that's kind of where we landed with my son who didn't want to do the last 2 pages of his last packet that I objectively also thought were kind of dumb. I just said, you just have to explain to your teacher why you didn't finish. You don't want to do it, and she asks you, you have to explain it. And that's where we landed. And a lot of you also landed there as well. Some people, were focused on like teaching them that this is a life lesson and that they've got to learn this some way. And I don't disagree with you. I just think 5 might not be the age where that makes sense to anybody yet. And there are other ways that you can do that, right? Like having them do small chores in the house. Like there's other ways you could teach your kid responsibility besides making them color something that seems potentially arbitrary to everybody involved. But some of you said like try and figure out how to make it as fun as possible. Get them cool pencils, cool crayons, get a cool timer that like a visual timer for the 5 minutes. The time of day you do it, that one is important. And we've noticed that like we can't do it too close to dinner time because then he's hangry, and we can't do it after dinner time because he's exhausted. And we don't have enough time to do it before school because it's a very quick warning. So we have to like find that Goldilocks window of when we can do the homework. Goldilocks, like the Goldilocks zone, that reminds me of space travel. Anyway, people are thinking about incentivizing him with a prize or stickers or snack or TV time. All of those things could work once or twice, but for at least my kids, he can figure out when you're trying to game him pretty fast, and like that's not going to work. Sort of incidents upon incidents. But I think my favorite answer, and it's a little tongue-in-cheeky, but I did really appreciate it, is someone just said, I had these battles, and then eventually I just put my kids in aftercare because I had to stay longer at work, and aftercare made them do their homework. Cha-ching! Some things are worth outsourcing, I believe, and that could very well be one of them. So anyway, on the homework front, I think we're just going to do our best. We're going to do the 5 minutes, and if he doesn't want to do it, he can explain it to his teacher. That's where I've landed. Obviously, it'll be a different conversation when he's older, but for now, I cannot. There's too many things to care about, and I cannot care about coloring that much. We're going to revisit Mahjong. I know. You guys, I think you guys are basically coming here now for Mahjong thoughts from me, right? Right? Is that why you listen to these? Mahjong. 2 reflections about Mahjong that I'd like to share. 1, I recently taught my husband how to play messy Mahjong. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's a way of playing just with 2 people. And normally after the kids go to bed, we both go to our respective corners and just like dissociate. We're exhausted. We've had a whole day. We've lived a whole life and we just want to chill. Sometimes we'll watch something together, but a lot of times we just kind of like want to be alone for a while and then maybe we'll hang out for 10 minutes and then go to bed. Like it's not, unless it's a date night. The Mahjong thing, like we're not doing it every night, but we have been playing a lot and it has been this really nice connective time for us to sit and be silly. And the game requires enough of your attention that you can't really be talking about logistics or other crap. Like you're just sort of focused to be present with the tiles and each other and be a little silly. And it's been really nice. So even if Mahjong isn't your game, let this be an argument for trying to think of something to do with your partner that is low tech, can be for 20 or 30 minutes, and isn't like super serious or intense, but it's kind of nice. Do a puzzle. I feel like I have a friend. Is it So Super Sam? I feel like So Super Sam's doing puzzles. We'll ask her. With her partner Blake. But like, let's all just find a way to hang out with each other without it being about something else. Like going on vacation just to have fun rather than trying to achieve something. There's something to that. And it's been really nice for us. The other point about Mahjong was just to say that I just taught a bunch of wonderful moms from my son's class Mahjong last night. And it was so silly and fun. And like, I have no idea if I know how to teach Mahjong. Like, there are teachers who people pay to teach Mahjong. Like, that is not me. But I did really enjoy just bringing all these people together. I think most of them will never want to play again because, like, you have to really want to play. Like, there's a lot of rules and complexity in the game. But I just, similar to how it was, with hanging out with my husband playing Messy Maj, it was nice just to have this opportunity to hang out with these women, to have like something that we were all doing together that wasn't around a restaurant or like heavy drinking. I don't drink, so that's not that much fun. Sometimes my stomach hurts, so going to restaurants can be a little stressful for me. So I realized that like one of the reasons why I think I've really latched on to the whole Mahjong thing is it's a way of hanging out with other people that takes away some of the like challenges that I have in other contexts of hanging out with other people. Similar to how Moms Club Los Angeles, shout out Jordan, and I'm sure they're coming to cities near you. Their 6 to 9 Moms Night is super silly, and that's happening on Thursday of this week. The Studio City one, they have them all over LA, and I know that they are looking into expanding in other places, but it's a good example again of like, you're just there to dance and be silly and have fun, and you're not like sitting at a table rushing through your order, waiting to get they're sort of need the table, so they're giving you your check quickly and da 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 da. It's just like, it's a place to have a hang as a grown-up where your only job is to just have fun. So anyway, I guess if I were to tie a thread together, it's like cortisol levels are high, life is lifing hard, moon joy is here. Let's try and find some earth joy now that Artemis has landed. Maybe that earth joy is Mahjong and dancing with our friends. I don't know. In wrapping this episode up, for those of you who were very concerned about the fact that I had not yet registered for summer camps, I have now locked and loaded on summer camps. Please and thank you very much. The moral of the story is, if you're not trying to do whatever the coolest thing is, you can get your kids into summer camp in April. You don't actually have to do the January thing if you're not trying to do whatever the cool kids are doing. I don't even know if they're doing, but my kids are going to camp and that's all that matters. And lastly, a big, heartfelt thank you, because we are in the top 5% of podcasts globally. And that might sound like not a big deal, or maybe it does sound like a big deal, but there are literally like almost 6 million podcasts registered. 6 million. So to be in the top 5% of that feels very consequential to me. But obviously, that means there's a real call to action for all of you. I've been doing so much research to figure out, how do we expand the community? How do we build the team? How do we grow the reach? And time again, one of the most powerful ways we do that is through listeners telling their friends that they're enjoying the pod. So if you're here, and especially if you're listening to a solo episode, like the solo episodes are really for the OGs. You guys are like my ride or dies. You're here because you believe in the mission and the hang. You got to help me out here, guys. Like, let's do the I knew the pod when. Let's be the founding members of the fund. So tell your friends, make sure that they listen. This has been a dream of mine since I was a little kid, to have sort of my own talk show, and somehow in a weird way, this has done it. And I am propelled 5% globally, and we're going to get to 2% with the help of all of you, by all of you and your engagement. You are the ones that are making this dream possible. And it costs you nothing to just get involved. So please tell your friends. Please call me Barbara Walters more in the reviews. Somebody called me Baba Wawa the other day, and could I have plotzed or felled any further? No. What a mitzvah. What a kind thing to say to a bubby in training who plays Mahjong like me. Baba Wawa? Thank you. Thank you so much. So tell your friends. Write their reviews. If you can't figure out how to write the review, you message me. I'll tell you. And if you do write a review, take a screenshot of your review, send it to me, and please let me send you a personalized memo, smoochy, video, something back. Like, I want you to know I love you. I mean, come on, let's build a dream together. Thank you so much for hanging today. So much to catch up on. I blacked out at some point, but we're at the end now. So have a great rest of the week. Can't wait to dance my booty off on Thursday. And we've got a great pod archival episode next week, followed by an incredible new guest. You guys are going to love her the week after. And in the meantime, let's keep spreading some moon joy Earthside. Love you guys.
Team, I need your help. If you love it here, please like and leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. Subscribe to the Substack for full access to this episode's show notes and join the discussion. And of course, follow me on Instagram at mutha, mutha.life, for a daily look at all things mother. Thanks for listening. Be sure to tune in next week for another Chat in the Closet. This podcast was produced by Mother Life, music by Ronan Landa. See you next time.